Todd Wenty here with Path to Progress for April 15th, 2025. Tax Day. Tax Day. What a wonderful thing here in the United States, right? Other parts of the world may have it set up differently, but for us, Tax Day, it's a tough day. I am here at my mobile office, getting ready to head into my brick and mortar office, and thinking deeply about an experience that I had. Well, an experience that I have almost, 10, 15, 20 times a day. But an experience that I had this morning that I'm trying something a little different. I think for all of us, as we venture out, at least for those of us who have reached adulthood, as we go out and we try and venture into the world and work a job and try and have fun and all of the stuff, we bump up against other people, sometimes physically, and more frequently, it can be said that we bump up against them in all kinds of other ways. And as we do so, we find ourselves engaging in comparison. And when we do that, let me rephrase. If your experience is anything like mine, when you do that, when I do that, the comparisons are often unkind. And when I say unkind, I don't necessarily mean one way or the other. I just mean unkind. We fight so hard for a feeling of worthiness, of worth, of value, that it can be very, very, very difficult to go from a position of equality, equanimity, and feel like we hold our own. In fact, it can feel quite different. It can feel quite a bit like in order for us to be enough, we have to pull other people down. But when we come face to face with, let me rephrase, when I come face to face with individuals or with situations that are very obviously superior to me, whether it's a situation because I don't have the skills for it or an individual who has exceeded the things that I'm trying to work for, at that point, my inner critic pops up. And my inner critic is ruthless. Some people handle the inner critic. We all have one, right? Every person has one. And the inner critic seems to drive behaviors that are not very helpful. It drives the comparison. It causes, at least in my case, it often causes me to think unkindly of other individuals, but it certainly causes me to think unkindly of myself. In fact, in my case, my inner critic is so well developed that it is difficult for me to walk through the world without seeing everyone around me as better. Not only that, but I find myself in situations frequently where I am struggling to do what I think is best, to make the best decisions. And my inner critic is relentless in its critique. Its assessment of the fact that I am a charlatan, a pretender, all of those kinds of things. That's the dialogue that goes on in the back of my head. Today I am working to try something a little different. I have not been successful at silencing my inner critic, no matter how many times I've tried over the last 50 years of my life. It just goes. But I'm trying something different. Partly in a response to something that I read by Leo Babautua, and partly as a response to something that I read this morning in a journal that I was working with. I am not going to try and silence my inner critic. Instead, I am going to thank my inner critic for pointing out places where I can improve, things I can do to improve. And in doing so, I am going to then say, and your job is done. So rather than carry the Second half. You didn't do this well, and that means you're a failure. You didn't do this well, and that means you suck. You could have done this better, and that means you are useless. I will thank for the assessment of where improvement can be made, and invite the value judgment to be stilled. I'm going to try that today. Hopefully, maybe in a couple of days, or in a couple of weeks. I'll let you know how that goes. I hope that's useful. I hope it gives you something to think about and maybe something to use in your own situation. Share this as you wish, and hopefully I see you in future videos. In the meantime, this has been the Path to Progress. My name is Todd Wente. Nulum Diem. We'll see you next time.